Welcome to NHK World Direct Talk, interviews with leaders, visionaries, and pioneers who are shaping Asia and the rest of the world. Today, our guest is Ivana Chubbuck, a celebrated acting coach, best known for personally mentoring and teaching Hollywood stars such as Brad Pitt, Halle Berry, and Charlize Theron. Chubbuck also holds workshops all over the world which attract many students. She empowers actors through making them confront their fears. Recently, Chubbuck held a workshop in Japan, and I had the chance to talk to her and ask her what it takes to become a great actor. If you were to meet a person for the first time in your life, at a party, for example, how would you introduce yourself as, in terms of profession? What do you tell people that you do?
What I do is so about empowering people. And I feel like that the best venue for empowering people is through the arts, where you're subliminally and subconsciously getting a message of hope, empowerment, that you can, make your dreams come true. You can change your life. You can take whatever pains and issues and traumas that have existed in your life and actually change and use that very information to grow and evolve with.
Ivana Chubbuck is a well-known acting coach in Hollywood. She coached numerous stars, both new and veterans, helping them become award-winning actors. How did Ivana become Ivana? What was her childhood like that shaped you to who you are
today? It was a bad childhood. I had a very abusive mother. Very physically abusive. All my sisters and brothers are being beat up. We're not talking slapping or spankings. We're talking about some broken bones. But she was mentally ill. My mother was raped when she was 13. And then I had a father who was a great man, who was a brilliant man. He was a lawyer, but he took care of a civil rights lawyer. But he wasn't there to protect us. He was gone, taking care of other people from 7 in the morning till midnight. I was going down, I was doing drugs, crazy amounts of drugs, having sex with everything that moved, just doing all kinds of self-destructive things. And I said, I can't keep doing this to myself. I'm taking this information and I'm destroying. My mother's voice on my shoulder, you're stupid, you're ugly, you're awful, and all this kind of stuff that she would say to me. I was like, okay, I'm going to feed into that. Or I can use that to change with, to be able to see this as something that makes me empowered.
Ivana started out as an actress, but soon she found her passion and true calling was in supporting other actors.
Then when I started teaching it to actors and creating a technique over it, it became more of a habit. Because I started with, okay, I got to practice what I preach. And it's really been so, it's not only been enormously helpful to my own growth, but it's also been, because it's so personal to me, this technique isn't just, it's not an intellectual process. It's a heartfelt, needed, necessary, to dire need to do this, that it expresses itself in a fast way with other people.
You talked a little bit about your few steps method, 12-step method.
12-step method, yeah.
How did you come up to formulate that technique?
In terms of the character, why does the character need to make this journey? How and why do they need to negotiate life? And that becomes our overall objective that is broken down into scene objectives. So you're telling many objectives that support the overall objective, and then all the other steps are based on personalizing them, so it becomes a journey of dire importance. And my whole basis of my technique is, don't take the information that most humanity is defeated by, but actually take that same information, the trauma, the insecurities, your fears, all those things that you consider as things that are bases of shame, bases of self-destruction, of self-loathing, and use that instead to actually empower and fuel your ability to overcome and win whatever it is that the character wants and therefore you want.
You almost sound like, if I may, a psychiatrist or a psychologist when you're
I had one
coaching.
famous actor once tell me, he said, "You're therapy without the cure." Okay. But if you use this this way of working, this program of working, what happens is this becomes very cathartic. I'll explain that from Creed, because I'm working with Sylvester Stallone on Creed 2. So his child had died 3 years before, and I said, look, here's the thing: no parent could ever deal with and find some kind of resolution with losing a child, and so we're going to use, as you know, Creed. The boy Creed, Adonis Creed, is going to be, for all intents and purposes, a substitution for, and you read the books, you know what I mean, a substitution for your child, and so we can resolve that issue. And at first he said, I don't know, I don't want to go there. And I said, let's just try it. And because he's a fearless guy, because all fearlessness comes from fear, by the way. You can't be fearless without fear. So he said, okay, let's do this. And that's very fearless to actually look at that and really face it down. So I said, look at me and find something about me that reminds you of your son. Now, I want you to tell me, with the words that are on the page, the things you never got to say to him before he died. It was pretty wow. People that are really extraordinary people are people who have a great deal of fear.
And they've overcome it.
And they attempt to overcome it. Which is, you never succeed. You'll always have fear. Fear will always keep coming in, but how you deal with it makes you that dynamic, extraordinary person that is fearless in moments in time. And therefore, the audience says, well, I have the same stuff that character has, and that person's actually doing something with it. Maybe so can I, and it gives them hope. And again, it's subliminal. It's the best pulpit of all, because everybody watches TV, everybody goes to the movies. So the thing is that, I mean, the poorest people do that. Every culture does that. So I have a pulpit of I say it's like empower people through the arts.
Ivana holds acting workshops all over the world. So far, she's traveled to 16 countries, including Asian nations such as the Philippines and Japan. In 2004, she published a book called The Power of the Actor, which reveals all her acting techniques. The book has become a bestseller and has been translated into 14 languages. How would you describe how your classes go?
I ask a basic question. It's like, you have a boyfriend right now, are you married? Your parents still together, are they alive? I have basic questions, but I watch them how they move, when they answer questions, and they're still alive, they're still together, whatever, but their bodies start to shift around and they get uncomfortable. They go, ooh, that's why we're going to keep going in that direction. They will in their conscious mind say, this is how I feel about something, and then I will watch their behavior, and their behavior tells me something different. And then I'll start leaning in that, tell them to use that, and then I see all these kind of miraculous changes happen in terms of their work, but also a glow, because there's something about allowing a voice to the things that normally you've been repressing that actually creates release. So everybody knows my secrets, they tell me theirs. It becomes this kind of unit where we all use the places that normally we're afraid to let other people know because we're afraid to be judged.
What would you tell a person that wants to get into acting? What would be your first advice?
Do it. Don't be afraid. Go for it. Study and study and study. It doesn't just happen because you're good looking. I mean, Hollywood is filled with good-looking people who haven't made it and will never make it because they never study. They just are entitled by their beauty. And then also, don't be afraid to take risks in terms of the choices, digging deep. Don't be afraid to push the envelope in regards to how you find your way within the industry.
Ivana continues to tour more countries around the world, giving acting workshops. In recent interviews, she's been asked about issues outside the realm of acting. Recently, we often hear about the Me Too and Oprah's Time's Up movement. When you first heard this come out, what went through your mind?
Women have been second-class citizens. Women have been used and abused. In almost every religion, they have to be in the back and standing, or they're not. You're not allowed to touch them when they're having their period. So we've been dealing with this way before Hollywood, came up with this idea that time's up. It's been going on since history. The thing is, it's the same stuff over and over and over again. Same fears, same insecurities, same molestations. I think it's important that the only time that people listen to stuff is sometimes it has to come out of Hollywood. And I say, thank you that that's the case, because it gave it voice. It needed a voice. And that was the voice that came out from that people around the world listened to. And I'm time's up. We have a long ways to go. This is the beginning of the conversation. People make so many choices from fear that they feel that being fearless is unattainable. But you can't be fearless without fear. So it is an essential component to having the very thing that every single human being on this planet wants, is to be fearless. To make choices from fear. To not operate on a day-to-day because I'm afraid this or that or this will happen. But to know that it is actually the most important component to being fearless is to know and understand your fear, is, I think, it could change people's lives.
Ivana, I had a great time. Thank you very much for your time today.
Oh, absolutely.